Hey my crafters, welcome back to Krafting the Craft with Ori's Oasis. You already saw the title, so let's get right to it. I start out with 2 cups of flour, and that's pretty much all the measurements that I'm going to do. I add nutmeg and I also add ginger. Nutmeg is pretty much it's for like wisdom. It also is for love, it's for prosperity, but it's also for like, wisdom isn't the right word, but it's around the area that I'm looking for. I also add ginger. Ginger is for protection. It also speed things up. Yeah. And then, peaches. Peaches overall are for love, and it's also for mental communication, and it's also for wisdom. They use, like in a lot of things, they'll use the peach leaves and things like concentration oil to pass tests and stuff like that. Well, here I just put in the baking powder, and I put in the baking powder on top of the seasonings, the spices, I'm sorry, just so you can kind of see exactly the amount that I'm using since I'm not measuring. Here I'm just adding some brown sugar, again not much because I will be using the syrup that the canned peaches came in. And right now I'm just going to mix this up as I say my words of power, and we're going to go on to the next step. So here I am putting in my butter, and if you notice I did not use any salt, and that's because I'm using salted butter, and I'm going to put in a whole heap and lot. I want this to look close to a pie crust, not an actual pie crust, but I want this to come out kind of like that where I could almost form one. And I am saying my words of power as I am squeezing the butter in. And yes, I do use my hands for this, as you can see. I want that butter warmed up by my energy, by my words, and all that. Also, I do want to note that for this, you want to be very specific with what you're saying. If children are going to be eating this like mine are, you don't want to be saying Songs of Solomon over this if you have children eating it. So you want to say something, that's friendly. And this is basically for us to, make sure we have good communication and we communicate in a loving way. So, yeah. So here I'm just cracking 1 egg, and egg is mostly for fertility, and normally when you're doing stuff for fertility, you don't want to cook the egg. However, I'm using this egg more so for innocence, and vanilla actually adds to that loving essence of childlike love where like that person could do no wrong. So that's also adding to this, even though the recipe still needs it. Just knowing and understanding the ingredients in the spiritual side works really well. So I'm just mixing this egg right now, and we're going to put it to the side to add to our other ingredients, because you always want to do dry first and then add in the wet after. So now, So now I'm adding the the canned peaches. I've already strained the juice from it, and again, we're going to use the juice for the liquid. I just want to come back to saying that your words of power is going to heavily depend on your usage for this. You can use this to sweeten the people at your job, sweeten your boss to you, to have a sexy night with your lover, especially if you add a little pinch of allspice, or you can use it just to bring better communication between your family members in general that have been arguing over dumb stuff. You can use this to just bring better communication between them so they can get past all that. And as you see, I just added in the juice from the can. I'm going to use all the juice. I just want to add in a little bit at a time. Now, as far as adding in liquid, it really depends on the area that you live in and how moist your area is. Normally, I don't really need the whole can, but it's been very, very, very dry here lately, so I use the whole can. And now I'm just showing you exactly what it should look like before it goes in the oven. Don't forget to keep saying your words of power, too, as well. Okay, so now we're just going to put this in the bread pan. I'm using parchment paper because my pans are really old, and even though I can't see the rustiness in my mind, this pan has rust in it, and I don't want that in my food. So I'm spraying it with just a little bit of olive oil spray just to help it not stick. parchment paper, you really don't need the olive oil spray, but I just do it as an extra precaution. But now I'm going to put it in here, and again, I'm still saying my words of power, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread it out evenly, and don't worry about those little creases in the flour, in the paper. It doesn't bother the bread at all. I'm just going to spread it out evenly, and then I'm going to tap it, pick it up and tap the bottom a few times before I put it in the oven, and it'll go in the oven at 350 degrees for about 30 to 45 minutes, depending on basically your oven. And here we go. This took about 40 minutes this time. Look how delicious it looks. Oh my goodness. I can't wait for my family to chop in on this. Here it is, nice and sliced. I let it cool for about 20 minutes before I sliced it. And oh my God, look at it. It smells so amazing. I can't wait for them to eat it. Oh, child. Just look at it. Look at God. Look at God. Like I said, I made this for my family to enjoy. And I totally love my boys, but they have been arguing way too much over simple stuff for me. So, yeah, here's a way to get them to get along. A nice, loving food spell to get them to get along better. And no one's the wiser, and they are enjoying eating it, as you can see. Oh, just look at it. If you like this video, don't forget to comment, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe for more videos of the like.